Hello. Hello. Once again, good morning to all. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Today, we will study how the national income and output generate in an economy. So, the question is explain the circular flow of income and expenditure in a two sector, in a three sector closed economy, and the circular flow of income in a four sector open economy. See, there are three questions on circular flow of income. Two questions. One, circular flow of income in a two sector closed economy. The second one is circular flow of income in a three sector closed economy. And third one is the circular flow of income in a four sector open economy. See, economies are broadly divided into two groups. One is closed economy, and the second one is open economy. Closed economy is such an economy in which there are no international economic relations. There are no economic relations with the rest of the world. It means that there are no import and export of goods and services. There is no lending and borrowing by the government. Similarly, no inflow of capital and technology, as well as no outflow of capital and technology. Simply, when restrictions are imposed by the government on the import and export of goods and services, capital, technology, it is called as closed economy. In the era of globalization, no one economy is called as closed economy. Each and every economy, each and every modern economy has its international economic relations. It means that almost all the economies of the world, almost all the economies of the world are known as open economy. Economies are having an international economic relations with other countries of the world. It means international economic relations involve import of goods and services, export of goods and services, lending and borrowing by the government, as well as inflow and outflow of capital, as well as technology. There are no such international economic relations under the closed economy. if there is an absence of international economic relations in an economy, such economy is called as closed economy. Based on closed economy, today we are going to study two questions. One is the circular flow of income in a two-sector closed economy, and the circular flow of income in a three-sector closed economy. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just a minute. Let us first study the circular flow of income and expenditure in a two-sector closed economy. Circular flow of income and expenditure explains the process how national income and expenditure generate in an economy. Or in other words, the circular flow of income explains the process that determines the national income as well as national output. See, national income. Later on, we are going to study in detail what is national
हॅलो
income.
सर,
Hello,
आवाज खूप येतोय.
आमच्याकडे आवाज फुल आहे. हॅलो,
नाही सर, खूप कमी आवाज येतोय.
माझ्याकडे 98 आहे. एक मिनिट 100 करतो मी.
माझ्या पण मोबाईलचा फुल आहे पण सर.
नेटवर्कचा प्रॉब्लेम असू शकतो. हेडफोन लावा, हेडफोन लावा. ओके, shall I continue? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, circular flow of income and expenditure explains how national income and national output generate in an economy. National income simply defined as the value of goods and services produced by the different sectors of the economy, avoiding double or multiple counting in a given year is called as national income. Simply, the value of goods and services in a given year, the value of goods and services in a given year is called as national income. National output means the total quantity of goods and services produced by the different sectors of the economy is called as national output. Consumers plays an important role by spending their income on the purchase of goods and services for the purpose of consumption. See, consumers play an important role by spending their income on purchase of goods and services for the purpose of consumption in an economy. Goods and services are mainly produced by the business firms or production units. Business firms, by using the services of factors of production, we know there are mainly four factors of production: one, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial skill. Goods and services are mainly produced by the business firms or production unit by using the services of factors of production. And remuneration or income is paid to the factors of production in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit. The income received by the factors of production. Factors of production represented by household sector, or we may call as consumers of goods and services. Income received by the factors of production, consumers, household sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit is spent on goods and services. The expenditure done by the business firms in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit is the income of the household sector. See, expenditure of the firm sector or expenditure of business firms is known as income of consumers or income of households. The income received by the household sector or consumers or factor owners or factors of production is used for purchasing of goods and services produced by the firm sector. The expenditure of the consumers, the expenditure of the consumers is the income of the business firms. See, on the one hand, expenditure of business firms is known as income of consumers. On the other hand, expenditure of consumers is known as income of business firms. It means that consumers' expenditure determines income of business firms. Consumers' expenditure determines income of business firms. More the expenditure of consumers means more income of business firms, and greater the production of goods and services. In short, consumers play an important role in determining the size of expenditure as well as income of the business firms. When expenditure of business firms is equal to income of consumers, that is household sector. And when expenditure of consumers, that is household sector, is equal to income of business firms, we may say that the economy is in equilibrium. See, the economy is in equilibrium when expenditure of firm sector is equal to income of consumers or household sector, and expenditure of consumers or household sector is equal to output, that is goods and services produced by the firm sector. Each and every modern economy has to perform certain economic activities or has to undertake certain economic functions. The important activities are: one, production of goods and services; two, exchange of goods and services, means buying and selling of goods and services; three, consumption of goods and services; and fourthly, distribution of income. Once again, modern economy, each and every economy performs certain economic activities. And the important activities are: one, production of goods and services; two, exchange of goods and services, means buying and selling of goods and services in the commodity market or factor market; thirdly, consumption of goods and services; and fourthly, distribution of income and wealth. Let us see first of all household sector. Households sector is the owner of the factors of production. Household sector supplies the services of factors of production like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial skill, and receive income in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit from business firms. See, once again, household sector is the owner of factors of production, and household sector supplies the services of factors of production, or suppliers of households are suppliers of factors of production like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, and receive income in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit. Income received by the household sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit is spent on goods and services for the purpose of consumption. Goods and services are mainly produced and supplied by the firm sector. Secondly, business firm sector. Firm sector is known as producer of goods and services, as well as user of services of factors of production. Firm sector or firms are user of services and producer of goods. Business firms, by using the services of different factors of production, produce goods and services and supply to the household sector and receive income in the form of prices of goods and services. Thirdly, exchange. Household sector is known as consumer of goods and services. Household sector is the owner of factors of production. Household sector supplies the services of factors of production to the business firms through the factor market. Factor market means market, the place where buyers and sellers of services of factors of production comes together to buy and sell services of factors of production called as factor market. See, household sector is the owner of factors of production and supplier of services of factors of production like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship to the business firm sector and receive income in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit. Factor market determines factor prices, that is, income of different factors of production. Factor market plays an important role in determining the prices of demand, the prices of different factors of production as per the demand and supply in the market. Household sector supplies the services of factors of production through the factor market, and business firm sector demands factors of production through the factor market, and factor market determines the prices of different factors of production. See, payment made by firm sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit payments made by firm sector to different factors of production in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit bring about a distribution of income to the factors of production. And lastly, exchange, that is buying and selling of goods and services. Business firms, by using the services of factors of production, produce goods and services and supplied to the household sector through the commodity market. In the commodity market, household sector, owners of factors of production, consumers of goods and services, comes in the commodity market to buy goods. On the other hand, firm sector, which is the producer of goods and services and supplier of goods and services, supplies goods through the commodity market, and commodity market determines the price of a commodity. Price of a commodity. Buying of goods and services by the household sector and selling of goods and services by the business firm sector determines, that is, demand for and supply of goods and services determine the price of goods and services. Exchange of goods and services takes place through the commodity market. Once again, modern economy performs certain economic activities, and the important activities are: 1, production of goods and services; 2, exchange of goods and services, that is buying and selling of goods and services through the commodity market; 3, consumption of goods and services through the commodity market as well as through the factor market; and lastly, distribution of income to different factors of production. Now we can explain the circular flow of income and expenditure by considering a simple two-sector economy. See, in a two-sector economy, we have assumed that there are only two sectors which operate in an economy. One is the household sector, and the second one is business firm sector. The circular flow of income in a two-sector closed economy explains how income and expenditure generate in an economy. The circular flow of income and expenditure explains the process that determines national income and national output. The circular flow of income in a two-sector closed economy is explained with the help of these assumptions. Hello, am I audible? Hello. Can you see this PPT slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, the circular flow of income in a two-sector closed economy is explained with the help of these assumptions. And the assumptions are: 1, there are only two sectors in a closed economy. One is household sector, and the second one is firms sector. One is household sector, and the second one is firm sector. Household sector is the owner of factors of production like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. This household sector is also called as consumer of goods and services. Household sector supplies the services of factors of production to the business firm sector and receive income in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit. See the third one. The income received by the household sector is used for spending on goods and services. Household sector spends their entire income on purchase of goods and services, and therefore there is no saving. Say, household sector spends their entire income on purchase of goods and services supplied by the household sector. Secondly, firm sector. Firm sector is the producer of goods and services. Firm sector is the user of services of factors of production. By using the services of factors of production, the firm sector produces goods and services. It means production of goods and services is done by business firms or production units. Fourthly, firms supply goods and services as per the demand made by the household sector or the consumers in an economy. Fifthly, there are no government operations. It means government does not undertake any economic activities such as production of goods and services, sale of goods and services, etc. And lastly, there is no international economic relations. International economic relations involve import and export of goods and services, lending and borrowing, inflow and outflow of capital, together called as international economic activities. It means that there is no import and export of goods and services between any two countries of the world. Under the closed economy, restrictions are imposed by the government on the import and export of goods and services. When government imposes restrictions on the import and export of goods and services, it is called as closed economy. Now we can explain how income and expenditure generates in a two-sector closed economy. See here, in this diagram, there are two sectors. See, the left-hand side triangle represents household sector. So can you see this PPT slide? Hello, is it visible?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you see this PPT slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this diagram, left hand side triangle represents household sector, and right hand side triangle represents business firms with the financial market, So the household sector is the owner of factors of production like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Similarly, household sector is the consumer of goods and services. Household sector supplies the services of factors of production like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial skill to business firm sector shown by arrows. Household sector supply the services of factors of production to the business firm sector through the factor market and receive income from business firm sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit is shown by anti-clockwise. See, household sector supplies the services of factors of production to the business firm sector shown by clockwise from left to right, and receive income in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit shown by arrows, that is anti-clockwise. The upper part of this circular or diagram shows that the flow of factor services as well as flow of money income. See, factor services flow from household sector to business firm sector, and income in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit flows from business firm sector to the household sector through factor market. Household sector sells the services of land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship to the business firm sector through the factor market and receive income from business firm sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit through the factor market. Factor market plays an important role in determining the prices of different factors of production. Then lower part of this diagram, see, business firm sector by using the services of land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurial skill or entrepreneurship produces goods and services and supplies to the household sector through the commodity market. This is shown by the arrow from right to left, clockwise. Similarly, on the other hand, the household sector the income received by the household sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit is spent on the purchasing of goods and services, prices paid by the household sector, through the commodity market goes to the business firm sector in the form of income. See, income received by the household sector from the business firm sector flow back to the business firm sector. Financial market. Financial market plays an important role in a closed as well as in an open economy. If suppose household sector is saving a part of its income, households are savings a part of their income, then financial market, that is banks and financial institutions, mobilizes savings from the household sector and made available to business firm sector in the form of investment. Let us now try to understand. See, expenditure of business firm sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit is income of the household sector. Expenditure of business firm sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit is the income of the household sector. Expenditure of the household sector in the form of consumption of goods and services, or consumers' expenditure, is the income of business firm sector. Savings of the household sector is equal to the investment of the business firm sector. The outer circle of this diagram, see, this outer circle of the diagram shows flow of factor services and flow of goods. See, this factor services flows from household sector to business firm sector, and goods and services flow from business firm sector to the household sector. The services of factors of production flows from household sector to business firm sector and get back to the household sector in the form of goods and services. Similarly, the income received by the household sector from the business firm sector again get back to the business firm sector in the form of prices of goods and services. The outer circle of this diagram shows a real flow of goods and services. the outer circle of the diagram shows real flow of goods and services clockwise. And the inner circle of this diagram shows money flow anti-clockwise. See, the supply of services of factors of production get converted into the production of goods and services and flow back to household sector. The supply of services of factors of production to the business firm sector get converted into the production of goods and services and flow back to household sector. Thus, this one circle gets complete. This outer circle is known as a real flow of goods and services. Secondly, the inner circle of this diagram shows money flow. See, money income received by the household sector from the business firm sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit get back to business firm sector in the form of prices of goods and services. And thus, this one circle gets complete anti-clockwise. A real flow of goods and services flows from household sector to business firm sector and business firm sector to household sector. And one circle gets complete. Again, the income received by the household sector from the business firm sector in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit is spent on the purchase of goods and services and get back to the business firm sector. And thus, one circle gets complete. A real flow of goods and services is shown by clockwise, and money flow, that is inner circle of this diagram, is shown by anti-clockwise. When we combine the real flow of goods and services, that is outer circle, and money flow of goods and services anti-clockwise, we get one circular flow of income and expenditure. See, income of the household sector is determined by the factor market. Income of the household sector is determined by the factor market. That is prices of different factors of production. More the income of household sector, more will be the expenditure of the household sector. More the expenditure of the household sector, more will be the income of the business firm sector. More the income of the business firm sector, greater will be the production of goods and services. In short, more income means more expenditure. More expenditure means greater production of goods and services. Greater production of goods and services. The outer circle of this diagram shows a real flow of goods and services, and the inner circle of this diagram shows flow of money. flow of money is shown by anti-clockwise, and real flow of goods and services is shown by clockwise. When we combine the real flow of goods and services and money flow, we get one circular flow of income and expenditure. This is known as circular flow of income in a two-sector closed economy. थोडक्यात आपण उत्पन्न आणि खर्चाच्या चक्रीय प्रवाहाचा अभ्यास करतोय. अर्थव्यवस्था दोन प्रकारच्या आहेत, एक मुक्त अर्थव्यवस्था आणि दोन बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्था. बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्था याचा अर्थ ज्या अर्थव्यवस्थेचा जगातल्या इतर कोणत्याही अर्थव्यवस्थेशी आंतरराष्ट्रीय आर्थिक संबंध नाहीत, अशा अर्थव्यवस्थेला आपण बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्था असे म्हणतो. थोडक्यात ज्या अर्थव्यवस्थेमध्ये वस्तूंची आयात निर्यात केली जात नाही, कर्ज दिले जात नाही, कर्ज घेतले जात नाही, भांडवलाची आयात होत नाही, निर्यात होत नाही, अशा अर्थव्यवस्थेस आपण बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्था असे म्हणतो. आजच्या या जागतिकीकरणाच्या युगामध्ये कोणतीही अर्थव्यवस्था ही बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्था म्हणून ओळखली जात नाही. कमी अधिक प्रमाणात प्रत्येक देशाचे जगातल्या इतर देशांशी आंतरराष्ट्रीय आर्थिक संबंध असलेले दिसून येतात. मग या दोन अर्थव्यवस्थांवर आधारित आपल्याला तीन प्रश्नांचा अभ्यास करायचा आहे. एक म्हणजे द्विक्षेत्र, द्वि म्हणजे दोन, द्विक्षेत्र बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्थेतील उत्पन्न आणि खर्चाचा चक्रीय प्रवाह. आणि दुसरा प्रश्न आहे बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्थेतील त्रिक्षेत्र बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्थेतील उत्पन्न आणि खर्चाचा चक्रीय प्रवाह. आणि तिसरा प्रश्न आहे तो म्हणजे मुक्त अर्थव्यवस्थेवर आधारित चतुक्षेत्र, चतु म्हणजे चार, चतुक्षेत्र मुक्त अर्थव्यवस्थेतील उत्पन्न आणि खर्चाचा चक्रीय प्रवाह. उत्पन्नाचा चक्रीय प्रवाह राष्ट्रीय उत्पन्न आणि राष्ट्रीय उत्पादनाची निर्मिती कशी होते, त्या निर्मितीची प्रक्रिया स्पष्ट केली जाते. हा अर्थव्यवस्थेमध्ये उपभोक्ते खर्चाच्या माध्यमातून महत्वाची भूमिका बजावित असतात. उपभोक्ते आपले उत्पन्न वस्तू आणि सेवांच्या खरेदीवर खर्च करतात, ज्या वस्तू आणि सेवा या प्रामुख्याने उद्योग संस्थांमार्फत उत्पादन केल्या जातात. उपभोक्ते जेव्हा आपल्या जवळील उत्पन्न वस्तू आणि सेवांवर खर्च करतात, तेव्हा उपभोक्त्याचा खर्च म्हणजेच उत्पादकाचे उत्पन्न म्हणून ओळखले जाते. आणि उत्पादकाचा खर्च, उत्पादक विविध उत्पादन घटकांना कामावर घेतो आणि त्याच्या बदल्यात त्यांना खंड वेतन, व्याज, नफा या स्वरूपात उत्पन्न देतो. म्हणजेच उद्योग संस्थांचा खर्च म्हणजेच उपभोक्त्याचे उत्पन्न म्हणून ओळखले जाते. उपभोक्त्याचा खर्च म्हणजे वस्तू आणि सेवांच्या उपभोगावर केला जाणारा खर्च उत्पादकाचे उत्पन्न निर्धारित करते. उपभोक्त्याचा खर्च अधिक असेल तर उत्पादकाचे उत्पन्न अधिक, आणि त्यामुळे उत्पादक अधिक प्रमाणात वस्तू आणि सेवा उत्पादन करतात. जेव्हा उपभोक्त्याचा खर्च हा उद्योग संस्थेच्या उत्पादना इतका असतो आणि उद्योग संस्थेचा खर्च उपभोक्त्याच्या उत्पन्ना इतके असते, तेव्हा अर्थव्यवस्थेमध्ये समतोल निर्माण होतो. प्रत्येक अर्थव्यवस्थेला काही महत्वाची कार्य करावी लागतात. एक त्यातली काही प्रमुख कार्य आहेत. एक, उत्पादन, वस्तू आणि सेवांचे उत्पादन. दोन, विनिमय, वस्तू आणि सेवांची देवाणघेवाण म्हणजेच खरेदी विक्री. तीन, उपभोग, वस्तू आणि सेवांचा उपभोग. चार, विभाजन म्हणजे उत्पन्नाचे विभाजन. आता द्विक्षेत्र बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्थेतील उत्पन्नाचा चक्रीय प्रवाह. उत्पन्नाचा चक्रीय प्रवाह समजावून घेण्यासाठी आपण अर्थव्यवस्थेमध्ये केवळ दोनच क्षेत्र आहेत असे गृहीत धरलेले आहेत. हा एक आहे घरगुती क्षेत्र, जे उत्पादन घटकाचे मालक म्हणून ओळखले जातात. भूमी, श्रम, भांडवल आणि संयोजन कौशल्य या उत्पादन घटकाची सेवा या घरगुती क्षेत्रामार्फत उद्योग क्षेत्राला पुरविली जाते आणि त्याच्या बदल्यात खंड, वेतन, व्याज, नफा या स्वरूपात उत्पन्न मिळवते. बिझनेस फर्म सेक्टर, उद्योग क्षेत्र. उद्योग क्षेत्र वस्तू आणि सेवांचे उत्पादक म्हणून ओळखले जाते, तसेच उत्पादन घटकाची सेवा उपयोगात आणून वस्तू आणि सेवांचे उत्पादन करणारे म्हणून ओळखले जातात. पहा, वस्तू आणि सेवांचा पुरवठा उद्योग घरगुती क्षेत्राला करून वस्तू आणि सेवांच्या किमतीच्या स्वरूपात उद्योग क्षेत्र उत्पन्न मिळवते. आता द्विक्षेत्र बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्थेतील उत्पन्न आणि खर्चाचा चक्रीय प्रवाह या गृहीत विधानाच्या आधारे आपल्याला स्पष्ट करता येईल. असं गृहीत धरलेले दोन क्षेत्र आहेत, घरगुती क्षेत्र आणि उद्योग क्षेत्र. मागणी आणि पुरवठ्यानुसार उद्योग क्षेत्र वस्तूचे उत्पादन आणि पुरवठा करतात. सरकारमार्फत कोणतीही कार्य केली जात नाहीत आणि बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्थेमध्ये कोणतेही आंतरराष्ट्रीय आर्थिक संबंध नाही. पहा, इथे या आकृतीमध्ये डाव्या बाजूला आयतामध्ये घरगुती क्षेत्र दर्शविलेलं आहे. हा घरगुती क्षेत्र उत्पादन घटकांच्या सेवेचा पुरवठा उद्योग क्षेत्राला घटक बाजारपेठेच्या माध्यमातून करते आणि त्याच्या बदल्यात खंड, वेतन, व्याज, नफा या स्वरूपात उत्पन्न मिळवते. दुसऱ्या बाजूने उद्योग क्षेत्र विविध उत्पादन घटकाची सेवा उपयोगात आणून वस्तू आणि सेवांचे उत्पादन करते आणि त्याचा पुरवठा वस्तू बाजारपेठेच्या माध्यमातून घरगुती क्षेत्राला केला जातो आणि घरगुती क्षेत्राकडून म्हणजे उपभोक्त्याकडून या वस्तू आणि सेवांची मागणी झाल्यामुळे साहजिकच किमतीच्या स्वरूपात उद्योग क्षेत्राला उत्पन्न प्राप्त होते. आता या आकृतीतील हा बाहेरचा जो वर्तुळ आहे, हा वर्तुळ वास्तव प्रवाह दर्शवितो. पहा, बाणाने दर्शविलेला आहे. घरगुती क्षेत्र विविध उत्पादन घटकाची सेवा उद्योग क्षेत्राला पुरविते आणि उद्योग क्षेत्र या सेवांचा उपयोग करून वस्तू आणि सेवांचा पुरवठा घरगुती क्षेत्राला करते. याला आपण वास्तव प्रवाह असे म्हणतो. आणि घरगुती क्षेत्र खंड, वेतन, व्याज, नफा या स्वरूपात मिळवलेले उत्पन्न वस्तू आणि सेवांच्या खरेदीवर खर्च केल्यामुळे हे उत्पन्न पुन्हा किमतीच्या स्वरूपात उद्योग क्षेत्राला प्राप्त होते. मग वास्तव प्रवाह आणि पैशाचा प्रवाह आपण जेव्हा एकत्र करू तेव्हा आपल्याला एक चक्रीय प्रवाह प्राप्त होतो, तो म्हणजे उत्पन्नाचा आणि खर्चाचा चक्रीय प्रवाह. पहा, इथे जर समजा उद्योग क्षेत्रामार्फत बचत केली जात असेल तर वित्तीय बाजारपेठ म्हणजे बँक आणि वित्तीय संस्था या बचतींची जमवाजमव करतात आणि उद्योग क्षेत्राला गुंतवणुकीच्या स्वरूपात उपलब्ध करून देतात. त्यामुळे घरगुती क्षेत्राची बचत आणि उद्योग क्षेत्राची गुंतवणूक दोन्ही समान. उद्योग क्षेत्राचा खर्च म्हणजेच घरगुती क्षेत्राचे उत्पन्न, घरगुती क्षेत्राचा खर्च म्हणजे उद्योग क्षेत्राचे उत्पन्न म्हणून ओळखले जाते. उद्योग क्षेत्राचा खर्च घरगुती क्षेत्राच्या उत्पन्ना इतके असते आणि घरगुती क्षेत्राचा खर्च उद्योग क्षेत्राच्या उत्पन्ना इतके असते. जेव्हा खर्च आणि उत्पन्न हे दोन्ही समान होतात तेव्हा अर्थव्यवस्थेत समतोल प्रस्थापित होतो. यालाच आपण द्विक्षेत्र बंदिस्त अर्थव्यवस्था असे म्हणतो. ठीक आहे, वेळ संपलेली आहे. आपण इथेच थांबूया. इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर वी विल स्टडी the circular flow of income in a 3-sector closed economy as well as 4-sector open economy. Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.